Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, June 21st, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I stop and notice the feels. And welcome to Sun in Cancer. Welcome to Solstice energy. We have the Sun moving into Cancer today at 7:58 a.m. Pacific time. And the Sun moving into Cancer brings on solstice energy. And there's a certain magic to solstice energy. So take some time to honor the light. I have, not magic right here, I have a candle right here, but bringing forth some light energy to help, infuse some of these solstice energies for all of us. That being said, it's definitely an interesting day because we're kicking it off with the Sun finishing up in Gemini, in conjunct Pluto. And so I spoke about this yesterday, but this can be uncomfortable. And while the Sun is in Gemini, it's probably making you face darker thoughts, things that you don't necessarily like to look at, like those thoughts that go by quickly, like I'm so dumb, or just not good at that, or whatever, those thoughts that move through all the time that are disempowering. And Pluto reminds us that we are called to be part of our empowerment. Nobody can truly empower you but you. And the mind is such an important part of that. So while this inconjunct is like, oh, we don't really know how to work together, because Gemini doesn't really want to look at the shadows. Gemini is like, I just want things to be good. I just want to make, connect the dots. La, 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 la. That's Gemini. I don't know if many of you remember that, but that is Gemini energy. And Pluto's like, you connected the dots and it's a werewolf in your mind and you have to face the werewolf. So that's how we're starting the day. But then we have the Sun moving into Cancer energy. Now, I always like to have a theme and topic. And I was initially kind of disappointed with what kept coming forth. It basically is notice your feelings. And I'm like, come on, can we get something a little bit more exciting? But I think noticing our feelings instead of always taking the ride that our feelings take us on, unconsciously, or not even noticing them, then just being like, you, slam, slamming the door. Those are two ways a lot of times we work with feelings. So to take the time, to take the space, to notice your feelings, the consciousness of your feelings is really potent. Cancer is ruled by the moon. And the moon, I always say, represents our yin consciousness, but it can also represent our psyche. It can represent the unconscious. It can represent hidden energies, just like how the moon goes dark, right? Once a month. We have those darker places within us that these feelings bubble up from, like from the deep, bubbles coming up from the deep, that need to be acknowledged. Thank you, Mahalo. Thank you. We heard you. Acknowledged, expressed, experienced, noticed. More than anything, noticed. And so this is your call for the next 30 days of Cancer season, to notice your feelings. Now, this season of Cancer is pretty interesting because through the majority of it, up until the last few days, we're going to have the South Node finishing up in Scorpio, one of the other water signs. And we have Saturn retrograde in Pisces, the other water sign. So all the water signs are engaged with some potent energies that are bringing up those bubbles from the deep. We're going to call them fart bubbles for lack of any other better term. They are fart bubbles from the deep. This is from the Plutonic colonics that we have been doing. So, I am 5. So, this is what we're doing. We are going to spend this time noticing And that will support all of these processes. Now, part of your noticing your feelings should also be, sorry, I'm shooting you now, plutonic colonics and all, we're going to get shitty with it. Noticing where you take care of everything and everyone else before yourself. Whether the everything and everyone else is your house, or it's your children, or it's your spouse, or it's your animals, or it's your work, or it's your co-workers, or it's your garden. Even though that's a wonderful joy. I think a lot of these things are wonderful joys, right? The garden got the mention, but these things are all wonderful joys. And yet, you know, I grew up with a Cancer mother. I got to see in live time how she took care of everybody else. And when we were all grown and then my dad passed, she had no idea what to do with herself and didn't know how to actually really take care of herself, which was left some problems for all of us, especially her. So I encourage you, because we all have Cancer in us somewhere, and we all have that place where a lot of times we'll put something ahead of our own well-being, before our basic needs. Cancer to me represents the mother, but also the infant within us. So it's the mother that has this calling to mother, to nurture, to tend to. But it's also the part in us that's like, I need food, I need sleep, I need to be cared for. Those basic needs that we need to show up for ourselves. So hold space for that. Notice where you tend to put energy in elsewhere, where you need to bring it forth for yourself. Now, finally, love this card, inner voice. Cancer is the first of the water signs. So it's the first place where we deal with emotions, but it's also the first place where we deal with our psychic nature. I feel like Cancer is like the gut knowing that we have, the gut psychic knowing that we have. And so listening to those gut instincts, those places where you know, you may not want to admit that you know, you may not want to enjoy what you feel like you know, but like listening to that, if I could have done that earlier in my life, oh my gosh, I feel like so many things would have gone so much better. But, you know, part of the lesson is not listening, right? So this is a call to listen to those gut instincts, those psychic tunes, as Joe likes to call it, the inner voice that comes. Now, maybe it's not from your gut. You know, maybe you feel it here in your shoulder. Or, you know, maybe it comes here from your earlobe. It shows up from somewhere different for everyone. Maybe it's your baby toe. Who knows? But listen to that quiet voice within you that is always helping to guide you into your alignment. All right. So, like I said, with Cancer, watch out for being the martyr. I really do see that in Cancer energies. And I think that can come from a need of being needed, and that's that mothering energy. So watch for that. Watch for those shadows around that. It's so good to be good to others, but watch where that shadow comes up in and through this time, especially as the South Node is winding up. Besides this today, Moon in Leo is bringing out our inner child. So your inner child might be like, I need the attention. Give me all the attention. So watch for that energy. The Moon in Leo is actually going to connect with Venus later in the evening. And this is interesting. When I worked at Soul Garden, that brought on Love Fest days. And I found on Love Fest days, people are either like, I love you, genuinely, and we're like happy, or they were like, ugh, today sucks. And if you are in the second portion of today kind of sucks, that is a big showing that you need some personal TLC, that you need to show up for you, love on you, spend some mirror time telling yourself, I love you. Look in your eyes and tell yourself, I love you. That is a beautiful practice, but if you say it enough and get past the weirdness and get past all the inside, can really be very healing. So spend a little time with that. We also have Mercury connecting to Mars oof, maybe a little reactive in that energy. Oh, it's not really reactive. It's like, what is the word? Feisty. Not really that, but I'm trying to grab the word for the feeling. I'm noticing the feeling. Sassy. It's more sassy. So we may have some sassy moments coming up. That's a little bit fun, but stay connected to your heart even through the sass. And Mercury also connecting to Chiron energy. Oh, speaking of sassy, look who just showed up. It's a wolf. You gotta grab a wolf really fast because they move super fast. Say hi to everybody, wolfies. Just like seeing yourself. Okay, thank you. What a little love bug. Sassy herself. When I was little, my favorite movie was Homeward Bound, and that cat Sassy, and I called myself Sassy for forever, like the cat, because I loved how sassy the cat was, and I likened myself to be sassy like the cat. Mercury also connecting to Chiron. So like I said, spending that time looking at yourself, loving on yourself, that is double duty, like astro work right there. So enjoy some loving on yourself. Now, I do love these cards that we have. So like I said, the first one is the inner voice. And beyond the inner voice, that sabotagey kind of, I'm going to say asshole voice. I usually try not to swear because people tell me that their kids watch, but so watch for that. Watch for that energy. And what do you need? Cry your way through it. Release that energy. That's part of actually feeling the emotions, is letting that energy actually move through. Sometimes it requires action. Sometimes it just requires the noticing. Notice what you need in and through that energy. The innocence. The sun will come out tomorrow. This is the solstice magic. It's like, even through all this interesting astro, there is some really good stuff incoming. And I said that at 12:22, by the way, of timing. We do have the past lives card. This is the moon card. So like I said, those hidden energies that are coming through, they're going to be here. And here we have the Fool. The Fool's been showing up in reverse again. Or in reverse a lot lately. This is going to be a short one. We're heading into 13 minutes. Geez, Lapete. The Fool in reverse. Message I'm getting for this, excuse me, is it's this, I got this before. You're not as naive as you think you know. You know this thing that you think that you don't know. That you know this thing that you think that you're pretending to not know. That you think that you're pretending. You know this thing you're pretending not to know. And it's time to own the knowing. And it's okay to not know too, but those places where you keep hiding from that knowing, it is time to own the knowing. It's time to not be the fool about that and learn that lesson and evolve that up. That feels like a really specific message for somebody, but maybe for me too, maybe for all of us. I'm going to leave that here for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Happy Cancer season. The better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.